The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
Right. What the? Ladies and gentlemen, it's time. It's Thursday. It's Korner Booth pregame.
You ready? No debate, cause it's off. I'm too official, got the drip, I got the sauce. Bring the proof when it's time to tell the truth. I'll be at the corner booth, find me in the corner booth, yeah. Still standing and defiant. Slay the competition, cause I'm walking like a giant. Bring the proof when it's time to tell the truth. I'll be at the corner booth, find me in the corner booth, corner booth.
I see as well. Kate, I feel like I have not officially said this. I've tiptoed around it. Kate, will you marry me?
Do I have to answer now? Or
No, you have time. You can think about it. You can think about a way to say no without hurting my feelings if you want.
Oh my
lovely.
God.
I'll send you a letter.
Just don't even.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Shit. I'll send you my address later so you can send it to my house.
Yeah, I'm never giving you my address. I don't want you getting that close.
Oh, I know.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in to the Korner Booth pregame. Happy Thursday. I'm excited, one, because I have off tomorrow because, PTO is a beautiful thing. I also hit my hours cap on my PTO, so I might be in trouble with my boss. He did give me a good job, though, today. That, if you know him, ex-professional hockey player, a good job, well done, is kind of like a unicorn. When you find it, you want to hold on to it. So, that being said, I'm happy to be here. It's officially championship weekend for the NFL. I have an amazing guest with us tonight. You know this man because he is not only the love child of C3PO and Daniel Jeremiah, he's also the body double for Jonathan Gannon. So when Nick Sirianni does his little stunts on the sideline, they use DJ to stand in for Gannon because he's fragile. He will probably stand in for them during the Super Bowl if they make it, and Gannon takes in a job with the Texans. That being said, this man is also one of the smartest human beings I've ever met in my life. He is also, watch out, one of the funniest dudes you'll ever meet, too, ladies and gentlemen, of the High-Low Sports Podcast, DJ Stewart.
It gets better every time. Your intros are unparalleled as well, too. Mac, if you step aside, we have a new king of the intros as well. And you know what? If I get to step in for Gannon, that'll be great, as long as I don't have to get too close to Sirianni, because great coach, great person, but he probably smells a little bit. He spends a little bit too much time with those greasy-ass cheesesteaks. So as long as I can keep my distance, because he's got a little stank to him, you could tell.
But he's also got that dog in him. And, of course, joining us all the way from Norman, Oklahoma, our kick-ass rookie, and our newest co-host, ladies and gentlemen, the man, the myth, the legend, the Chris Collinsworth sound alike, Mason.
How's it going? What's up?
And, folks, for the record, he does not kiss Patrick Mahomes' ass like Chris Collinsworth does.
No, sir.
Yeah, he actually was raised right. And, of course, in the other corner, the man, the myth, the legend, the TikTok sensation, the Italian Viking himself, ladies and gentlemen, Matt Ordazzo.
All of this news today from all these hirings has me spiraling out of control to where I agreed to work overnights tonight for my job. So I'm going to spend the next 6 hours from 11 o'clock to about 5 in the morning contemplating if I like this hiring or not for my team. Shout out to future bust in the NFL, Caleb Williams. We all know that's what's going to happen.
All righty. Oh, my God, I'm excited. Shout out to our boy Kelsey, by the way. He's supposed to make it tonight. He couldn't make it, unfortunately. Dude, I'm proud of him, by the way. Shout out, Kelsey got a new job. I'm hyped for him. Loving it. Got to throw love to the homies when they're moving up. But unfortunately, poor bastard couldn't make it. And honestly, maybe not the worst thing in the world because I think he's like the bad luck charm for me, gambling-wise. I think every time he's come on the show, I think I've gone 0 for 4. So, or worse. I don't know. And Matt's already in the lead. I've already established I'm going to be buying this dude a jersey or Mason a gift card at this point because I don't have that kind of luck. That being said, fellas, we're going to talk NFL awards tonight. DJ, of course, I watched you and Kels drop yours yesterday. I'm still a little pissed off Hassan Reddick didn't even get a nod for Defensive Player of the Year when he had more sacks than 3 out of the 4 players brought up and more forced fumbles. The NFL hates Philadelphia. We get it. But also, we'll talk about the award winners, obviously. We'll talk about bets we love for this weekend and much more. Shout out to our boy, Chet Rodri. What up, Chet? from Sports Scramble. Love that show. And of course, this other Connecticut podcast. I don't know where the hell they came from. They somehow found themselves in the belly up. So shout out to Rescue Report. Oh boy, I'm trying to keep my shit together. As the only guy on this panel with a team in right now, I'm still a little jumpy. I had to go on Craft Brew on Tuesday. Shout out to Mike and the boys for having me on. It was a good time. Also, I had to talk shit to their boy Caesar being a Cowboys fan, which was just hysterical because I said one joke about Dallas. He goes, whoa, whoa, whoa. And I just hear him out of the corner and we start arguing. And I think the only person besides I don't know. The only person who hates the Eagles besides Caesar is Craig Carton. Now, he's the center of my focus today because I thought nobody could top Skip Bayless for hating a fan base more than Skip hates LeBron, the Philadelphia Eagles, and I believe he's a Sooners guy, right?
Well, yeah, he's from OKC, so OU. And I think he's got a little bit of a soft spot for the Thunder. And I think that's kind of why he was so heavy on the KD hate, because obviously KD burned him pretty good. And so, yeah, I think he's an Oklahoma guy, but, I mean, he's a Cowboys fan, right?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, right. We weren't sure, right? So one of the biggest things that gets on my case, right, is I unfortunately have the mispleasure of having to watch Craig Carton's ugly mug every time I go on my For You page because some schmuck at Fox gave this dimwit a show. Now, this doofus is such a Giants homer. It's a little irritating. Listen, I got best friends who are Giants fans. Shout out to my boy Connor and, of course, the man, the myth, the legend, the voice of this show, Maserati. Who else took me to an Eagles-Packers the game? That's a true fan right there of the game. Just takes it to two teams he hates and roots for both to lose. Love it. But I had to hear Carton all week. Now, Nick Wright, I understand why he was shitting on Philly. He always dances on our graves. At least he's consistent about it. But he's a KC fan. He should be thanking us. We gave Andy Reid, and who in turn gave him Patrick Mahomes. They were going to be stuck with the Alex Smith show for the next 3 years if that happened. But Craig Carton goes out of his way to shit on Philadelphia. Now, usually on this show, we like to go with Colin Cowherd. We'll go with Skip Baseless. I'll even go with Uncle Shay Sharp. But what cracks me up about Carton is that it's borderline on, like, this dude hears himself talk, right? So today, I saw 2 clips of him. One, I won't post them because the last time I posted a clip from Fox Sports 1, me and Kev got slapped with a cease and desist so fast made our head spin. So, that being said, I'm not trying to get us another red flag. Well, yeah, no, okay. See, at least Brad understands what's going on. He does hate the Red Sox, and he hates anything that's not New York sports. And at least he admits it, but they gave him a national show, which they should at least, like, say, dude's wearing Giants jerseys on air and everything else. And after the Eagles railed his Giants off the field, he said he didn't tweet for 2 days. And then his new thing is, the Eagles haven't played anybody good all year. Oh, so you're going to double down now and say the Giants aren't good? Or the Vikings aren't good when you were just singing the Giants' praises? Or the Packers, weren't good. The Lions weren't good. I'm not saying we played world beaters, right? But, I mean, we didn't have the easiest schedule in the world, but the fact he goes to top 5 offensive players in this game on Sunday, we're all 49ers. I was like, dude, come on, really? Like, you couldn't even sneak AJ or Jalen in there. You have to hate on him that bad. He ranked Brock Purdy above him. I'm like, God, like, is this how it sounds when, like, I used to go on those horrible Eagles rants on the radio station back in the day, Matt? Because, like, it's I'm like, come on, dude, like, at least, like, throw it some, like, balance.
Pre-2015 Jared, yes.
Yeah,
but current Jared's better.
2015 Jared was a fucking idiot.
Are we still talking about Craig Carton?
Both.
I'm not even familiar with the guy, man. I have no idea. Sorry to cut you off, Matt, but I've never even heard of this dude.
I want you guys to make your homework is to go look up the Craig Carton show.
So how do you spell his last name?
Carton.
Okay. Yeah,
I'll
look
check
it up.
out.
Look it up on TikTok. That's his TikTok channel alone is
Full
hysterical.
disclosure. So Craig Carton, I'll be honest with you, I'm a big fucking Craig Carton fan. I fucking love the guy. He's hilarious. I love this man. I don't give a fuck that he had. Listen, as bad as it sounds, I can give two shits that this guy had the biggest Ponzi ticket scheme in the world and got locked up for 3 or 4 years because he owed a lot of people money. And he was gone from about 20. I don't know what it was. It was about a good 3-4 years. I don't care. I love the guy, but man knows basketball. Man loves the Knicks. Big basketball guy. Not a big hockey guy. Knows football. Knows enough about football to get by. When it comes to baseball, it's a little iffy. But big Jets fan. Hates the Eagles. He lived in Philly for about 5 years. Has all good things to say about the city. But his wife and his entire wife's family, I believe, are all Philly fans. So I believe he despises them for that. Plus, he mentioned on the radio when he was locked up was when Philly won the Super Bowl, and they don't let him live it down because he could have gotten them tickets. So his whole thing is if Philly goes to the Super Bowl, he has to make amends and bring the family to the Super Bowl to watch it. So I think that's why he's pretty much anti-Philly, because he doesn't want to have to do that.
Nothing worse than a cheap Giants fan. Breaking news. Dan Quinn. Oh, wait,
yeah, he's staying.
He's staying.
Yeah, the real reason why Kelsey couldn't make it tonight is because he's going to go party at the bar because the defensive
he's
coordinator's
just
coming
slamming
back.
beers at a random Cleveland bar right now.
He's like, Dan Quinn, everybody. And they're like, what?
I mean, now if they could get rid of Kellen Moore and Dak Prescott, they might actually be a Super Bowl contender.
If they have Dan Quinn's probably looking around like, all right, we still have Micah Parsons under control for like 2-3 more years. We've got, I think they
Diggs for one more
same
year.
thing with Trayvon. I think they locked up Van Der Esch or what they're doing with him. I think he's coming back next year at least. DeMarcus Lawrence, I'm pretty sure, is still under some sort of contract. I don't think they're really losing any major pieces on the defense. So I think his probably thought process is if I come back and I just have a similar season like I did before, I'll probably gain more interest, probably be more of a higher end guy. Maybe he just didn't want to go to the Texans or anything like that. But it'll be a gamble, I think, for whoever hires him, because there's just some guys out there that are better coordinators than coaches. And Dan Quinn had some pretty early success with Atlanta, but after that, failed Super Bowl, the last 3 or 4 years were pretty downhill.
You can't blame that on him, man. That was all Kyle Shanahan just calling like.
Well, yeah, but if you look at
shitbox plays, man, like, what the hell?
If you look at Quinn's production though, after that, the years leading to his firing, it wasn't pretty. So I mean, I think if there's any current failed head coach that's out there, that's a coordinator and is trying to get back to coaching that deserves a second chance, I think it'd be Dan Quinn. I think he's just going to try and replicate this year and then come back next year and get maybe a more enticing job. Maybe he looks at the Texans defense is like, I'm not really, this is a couple years away from being anything good, not jumping to conclusions, but let's just say the Jets parted ways with Saleh. He's going to look at that Jets defense and be like, oh, that's a much more enticing hire than the Texans would be. I'm not trying to use my team as a biased example. It's just top of my head. We have fire coaches pretty easily, so it's not out of the realm.
My biggest thing with this, and I honestly, this is a perfect combination now because my random ADHD and checking my phone for no reason got us into a perfect transition for checking, like talking about the coaching hires today, because a lot of moves were made today. But with Dan, here's my thing. We're even talking about like Sean Payton's not going to get a job. They're not going to. I think a lot of guys are realizing like some of these jobs really suck. Like, here's my take. Like DJ, you and me did that game when I filled in for Kelsey. Remember, we did the hey, can you fix this team? And we tried with your Colts. That was the fun one.
There's some work to do there. There's a lot. That's a mess if there is ever one as well too.
Jeff Saturday isn't the answer.
All right, I'm leaving. I don't need to take this kind of verbal abuse.
I'm sorry.
You got his.
Listen, my team was dumb enough to hire a racist Napoleon lookalike in Chip Kelly. So I mean, shit, anything's better than that. He literally destroyed my childhood in 3 trades.
You want to look at a Napoleon lookalike? Go look up the Jets' old offensive coordinator with Adam Gase. His name is Dowell Gaines. When I tell you, man was straight up Napoleon without a beard. If Napoleon had a beard, it would be that guy without a beard. But he about 5'6", just straight up Napoleon, everything. But the Colts. So like, I'm curious. So what would be your ideal candidate right now if you were to go get a quarterback off the street, or not a quarterback, I'm sorry, a head coach off the street, or wherever you
They've
do.
done enough getting quarterbacks off the street. I'm putting it into that right now. They're going to have to actually. So in no particular order, if I had my way, I think Eric Bieniemy is a very good fit. I think him and Chris Ballard have history in Kansas City. I think that's, if he's going to work as a head coach, that'd be one place. Brian Callahan, the offensive coordinator of the Bengals, worked with Peyton Manning. We know how much Jim Irsay loves those teams. The fact that Jeff Saturday was fucking hired. So I think that's a good fit. I also like Raheem Morris, who has done really well considering he has offensive and defensive coordinator experience. And I'm thinking about the staff he'd bring in as well, too. Whether they bring in the offensive staff from the Rams as well, just where he's been around. And the Bucs, he kind of got a short end of the stick. He wins 10 games with a shitty team and overperforms and never gets a chance to actually build a team and kind of got let go early. So those would be kind of the three I'm looking at right now, where it feels like Raheem Morris is the most likely one, since right now Callahan's still coaching, same with Bieniemy. So we'll have to wait and see how those go.
I was talking about with these guys about Bieniemy, right? And I just noticed Mason's doing Matt Patricia impression with the pen in the pen. But my favorite, being a Patriots fan, it's got to hurt, buddy. My favorite thing about
why would that be, Jared?
I don't know, because that schmuck's still on your coaching staff, even though you guys replaced him.
Look, bro. I have 6 wins, man. Nothing like, and you know what?
6 rings or 6 wins? You guys clarify here, buddy.
No, I have 6 wins. You have 6 rings.
Wins, rings, dubs, whatever you want to call it, man. You can never, ever take them away.
Okay.
So and I got to see the GOAT. We don't need to get off on this tangent, but I love being a Pats fan, bro.
Pats fans like you actually give me hope that there's some hope for you guys, like as a combine. Because then there's fans like Kevin, not knocking my boy here, but that dude literally told me, he goes, I may stop watching pro football if they do Mac Jones dirty. I'm like
you know what? Hey, he's got a good point there, though. You know what? I will agree with him there, man.
He's college first. I get that, but like turn your back to the NFL because your team sucks, man. I mean, the only sport I ever even thought about doing was basketball, but yet the Timberwolves still bring me back every fucking year.
Yeah, I mean, listen, when you're locked into your team, no matter what it is or what sport it is, it's hard to just, like, I don't know. I could have easily have checked out of the Jets 15 years ago, and I just can't. They're like, oh man, we're making our turf a different shade of green. Oh, you're fucking locked me in for 2 more years, buddy. I was like, I'm a wild ride. Let's go see that fucking blue turf. And then all of a sudden you go up and it's the same turf as always, and I'm still locked in. You can't get rid of them.
My favorite thing about, and I guess we'll get back to coaching and like just teams that are killing us, is the 2015, Matt. We went to an Eagles-Jets game. Both of our teams were like not good. Your team like choked its way out of the playoffs, and my team literally imploded and had a mutiny on the sideline. So,
from what we remember from that day,
I mean, no, that's not even talking about the game we went to. I'm talking about just the season in general. I watched David Johnson rack up about 3. I watched his coming out party against my Eagles, and I was like, that was the first day I ever said to myself, I was like, you know what? It's for the greater good. Chip's gonna get fired tonight. And literally, I woke up the next morning hungover as hell, like, ha ha ha! That fucker's fired.
Sorry, 2015 will be in my.
I yelled out that morning. I think my parents listened to me like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
2015 will be in my 5-year plan, which is what we'll get into when we go over the coaching hirings down the road.
Jesus Christ! All right, well, I guess we'll start with the big one. Nathaniel Hackett is the new offensive coordinator for the New York Jets. Matthew, you got a 5-year plan. Me and DJ played ours in 3, but we'll give you a 5 because apparently I work slower in New York for football teams.
So, no, this is what's going to happen for the next 5 years. Unless I'm wrong, which I pray I'm wrong. But if history has repeated itself, which it has in the past, we've got Nathaniel Hackett as offensive coordinator. We're going to go and get Aaron Rodgers. We're going to start the season off 8-3. We are then going to go 9-8. We're going to miss the playoffs. Aaron Rodgers is going to go to Minnesota. He's going to go lose in the NFC Championship game. He's going to remember how to play football after he goes on a 1-5 stretch for us after that. We are going to go draft a fucking UFC quarterback, probably. And we're going to have 2 great seasons under a newly appointed head coach who is going to be a large, fat man. I don't know who it's going to be, but he's going to be fat and large. It's going to be like Rex Ryan 2.0. We are then going to have 2 great years. We're going to have 2 great years. We're then going to realize the quarterback we drafted is shit. He's going to have a terrible next couple years. And then the 5th year is going to be topped off where we're going to bring in some sort of veteran, which in 5 years, Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett's going to be our quarterback in 5 years. He's going to probably have a young quarterback behind him. That quarterback's going to get punched in the face by somebody who's going to break his jaw. He's going to be out for the rest of the year. Jacoby Brissett's going to have a great year. Then we'll bring him back next year and we'll be dog shit again. That is the 5-year plan of what's going to happen after this hiring. But
didn't Aaron Rodgers send dick pics and steal money from poor people during that time with the Jets?
I know. I'm trying to understand this right now. Like, Matt, like, you're assuming Aaron Rodgers won't just go on ayahuasca trips instead of, like, ripping off the poor. Like, this dude might actually just stay in New York because I'm like, Brett, he's not a hit. He's a Cali boy. New York's a little easier for a Cali boy than it is for a country boy. Take it from me. I can only be in New York for about 24 hours before I start twitching.
I mean, we will see. I pray that I am wrong. I pray that he has a little better gameplay left in him than Brett Favre had for us. But in all seriousness, I'm trying to. So I'm 50-50 with it. I wanted a veteran play caller. I'm tired of my team going down the rookie route and never pans out for the Jets. It just never does. I'd rather get an experienced guy. So we got that. I was happy about that. I'm not necessarily happy about the specific person that we hired. I was more interested in taking a look at, Greg Roman, or maybe see if Norv Turner is still alive. But those have been my choices. I would have loved Frank Reich if he wasn't going to get, coaching calls, which he did obviously. But I'm looking at, look down the list of some failed head coaches that were just better coordinators. You look at Eric Mangini, you look at Gus Bradley, Pat Shurmur, Dennis Allen, Dom Capers, Romeo Crennel, guys that were very good coordinators, just not cut out to be coaches. So I'm kind of hoping that's what Hackett is just a better coordinator than a coach. He worked with Blake Bortles when they went to the AFC Championship game that year. He's obviously worked with Rodgers, especially during that MVP season. So I'm hoping that him as a coordinator can kind of bring that spark to whatever quarterback is going to be rocking number 12 next year. So we'll see how that goes for us. But other than that, I mean, I'm not against the hiring. I guess I just wish it was a different person, but I'm anxious to see how this is going to play out. I'm open to it. I'm not going to trash it, but I'm not going to be excited about it, if that makes sense. And I'm just kind of like content with it. I feel better about this hiring than I did with Adam Gase, but I still have that little gut feeling that, this might backfire.
Fair. I mean, I'm looking at, everything down from, we all know what this is about. I mean, we can look at the fact that Nathaniel Hackett honestly was a decent OC when he was just an OC. But he literally may have been the dumbest head coach I've ever seen since Ben McAdoo was. Yeah. So at this point, it's all about Rodgers. And they're an AFC team. They have draft picks. They have young talent they can move. I think I think Aaron would probably like to go to New York and try playing in New York. He's always played in small town Green Bay. Why not try playing for, oh my God, stop calling me. I hate that my phone is synced to my computer sometimes. I really do. I just, I look at Aaron Rodgers and I look at how everything's going. I think, honestly, it's a good fit. I would have rather them gotten Lamar. I think Lamar would have thrived in New York, right? I thought Aaron was going to Tennessee, but you know what? Fuck it. All right, Rodgers to the Jets. I'm for it, man.
Well, there's also that possibility that it just doesn't happen, I mean, Joe Douglas is also a guy that's the Jets put all their eggs in Rodgers' basket. And I think this is probably the best year that he's going to probably want to be out compared to when Denver hired him as their head coach. This is a little less of a risk of a hire, but this could easily cost Saleh his job if this doesn't go well. So out of the 15 people he interviewed, I pray that this was correct. But there's also that possibility that we don't get Rodgers. I mean, Joe Douglas, but just as good as I do, Jared, because he was with the Eagles, but he will not overspend. What drives me crazy about the guy sometimes, but I love it at the same time, is that he will make sure if he makes a deal that he is not splurging too much. So he's a smart man and he's not going to overpay. So we'll see if that backfires or not. But yeah, at the end of the day, we'll see how this is going to roll out.
Him and Zach Wilson are bros too, so you never know. Maybe it's
that's my thing too. Is like
that could help. And Garrett Wilson might not hate everybody after that, so get the ball thrown to him a lot more too. So Elijah,
We might even keep Elijah Moore around for a little bit.
Exactly.
Like shit.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
honestly, this is the
I was
best.
gonna say, if I'm Rodgers looking at,
Since-
if I'm Rodgers looking at this roster, I'm seeing Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore. If we keep Corey Davis, I'm not sure what we're gonna do. We might cut him for a cap. You know, you got Brees Hall coming back. Good tight ends. You could probably use somebody else with Conklin. Uzama's not really getting used that much, but offensive line will be better next year when everybody comes back healthy. So this is an attractive team.
I blame LaFleur for no use of Uzama is a stretch the field tight end. He likes Conklin. Conklin's bulky, can sit in the hole and catch a ball like I'd say Zach Ertz. He's a Zach Ertz type, where Conklin's more of the Travis Kelce Kittle type, where he can stretch the field a little bit. So Uzama. So I would say I think that'll be more utilized, like almost like a Bob Tunyon. God, he fell off fast. Dude, that guy got dropped on a fantasy team twice. I'll say I think LaFleur was kind of just a bad fit. I think honestly he needs to go back, maybe coach with his brother or something, because there's no way in hell right now he's going to get a decent job, because the Jets were atrocious. I think Zach Wilson should probably be sent to the. I think Wilson would be amazing in the XFL. By the way, just watching him scramble around for 5 minutes and yeet a ball 40 yards in the air for a jump ball. Are you kidding me? DJ, I can't wait. I mean, I hope if you guys do an XFL preview show, I'm inviting, because I'm ecstatic.
It'll be great.
There's one team that's like 7 Miami Hurricanes on it, so I'm just like, all right, I'm a fan. Got it.
Locked in already.
But my team is not the only one in this 4 squares that we have on the screen that's got a new OC in the building.
Billy B back in Billy OB back in New England. First of all, I'm gonna say I love this for New England, one, because Billy O'Brien is never gonna be a head coach again. I think after the whole Deshaun Watson, DeAndre Hopkins bullshit, I think he just realized his lifespan wasn't long enough to deal with all that attention. I love this for 3 reasons. 1, I think Mac Jones' career is saved now. 2, I think they'll actually go out, because Bill O'Brien is a hard ass enough. He'll tell Bill he's being a moron. The senile old fool actually might go get a receiver not named Devontae Parker. And 3, it's an offense that they're familiar with. I think the Patriots next year. You guys want a hot topic? If the Dolphins do not get Lamar Jackson, they will be in last place next year. Because Rodgers will go to, in this theory, Rodgers will go to New York. Billy O.B. will at least get the Patriots to be the second wild card team, if not the third. And you still have Buffalo, who's going to either murder people or like blow their entire team up. I think it's going to be the first one, but So there you go. Mason, I want to hear your thoughts, buddy. You got to be a little ecstatic.
So before I get started, I just want to touch on Matt's shirt here. For those of you that are not on the live, he's wearing a University of Southern California Trojans t-shirt, baby. So I just want to say, what's up with that, man?
When you have family that goes on vacation and they don't bring you and they don't tell you about it till last second, so they get you a t-shirt to make up for it. They just, it's one of those things where as a guy, it's free.
Yeah, it's a free t-shirt.
Why? Yeah, I wouldn't have bought this with my own money. That helps.
I have a University of Hawaii Warriors t-shirt. I've never been to the University of Hawaii. I sent my application there for shits and giggles, and I was waiting listed. So I'm like, but besides that, like, never had any interest in the Rainbow Warriors besides betting on them one time because Kevin's a degenerate. And 2, Colt Brennan when I was in middle school.
R.I.P.
Yeah, glad to know you're not a Lincoln Riley.
He's a Tiger. He's a Tigers boy, man. LSU baby.
No, this was free. So I wear this. This is my around the house shirt when it's laundry day.
Excellent, man. Excellent. Okay, so back to the topic of discussion. You know what? I think you summed it up very well, Jared. This is a system that Mac Jones is going to be very comfortable with. If we think back to the 2020 season, or I guess was it 2021? I can't remember now. 2020. He was excellent. Finished runner-up in the Heisman voting. If Devontae Smith doesn't really take off towards the end of the season, I think Mac Jones wins the award. And probably gets drafted higher than 15 to the Patriots too. So, very good if you're a Mac Jones truther, because we should absolutely see him thrive in this system, or at least do better than he was doing in the Matt Patricia system. That's for sure. I think that's the only guarantee we can make, which isn't saying much. And I think the other thing that you kind of touched on too, Jared, that I agree with, is that I think this is a move that essentially says, obviously we all know that the ties between Bill Belichick and Bill O'Brien, they go way back. They've known each other for a very long time. O'Brien was the OC with the Patriots years ago at the beginning of the Brady era. So I think this is basically just saying, Belichick obviously knows that he's not an offensive mastermind. That's not his side of the ball. He is probably, I think we would all agree, I still think you can say that he's the best defensive mind in the game, even right now. And so I think this is him just saying, look, O'Brien, I trust you, man. You focus on the offensive side of the ball. You get Mac ready. Maybe we go out and trade for a receiver, draft a receiver, whichever option that is. You handle the offense, I handle the defense, and we basically just play to our strengths and focus on what each of us are good at. So I think it's a good hire. I don't know how this works for the potential DeAndre Hopkins trade, because obviously we know that Hopkins and O'Brien were together in Houston. And from the whole sort of blow up there, we can all remember that Hopkins did not get along well with O'Brien, as well as the front office and the owner at the time, for various reasons. So I don't know how that kind of plays into that hypothetical trade scenario, if there even is one now that O'Brien's hired. But I think all in all, it's a smart hire. It's low drama. It's not really that big of a gamble. In comparison to like the Jets hire with Hackett today, kind of like Matt said, that's sort of a coin flip, right? Especially if you don't go and get Rodgers.
At this point, you look at the top. Let's look at the final 8 teams that are allowed in the NFL. I'll expand to 8, right? Because the final 4 teams are all going to be back there around next year, most likely, right? Then you expand to the next 8. Giants are only going to get better. So the Bills are most likely going to get better. Jags, same. And Dallas, honestly,
probably going to get better. It's safe to say that they're,
they'll probably be in that exact spot next year and lose.
Maybe one more win, one more loss, right? Give or take a game, right?
It's Dallas. They're always going to be a division round, wild round exit, but they're still a good team. They're still going to kick your ass.
They're gonna win between 12 and 13 games. We can guarantee that.
Yeah, Mike McCarthy's going to do his job and smash some watermelons and actually get them to 12 wins. It works for them. The Cowboys got to realize they are now an Arizona Cardinals level franchise. They're no longer the elite of the elite. They can spend all the money and be the most valuable franchise they want. They're just not that team anymore. The Bengals, Chargers. The Bengals, Chiefs. It's wrong CH. Bengals, Chiefs, Bills, 49ers, Eagles. I'll throw in what's his face? Buffalo. Those are the class. That's the teams, man. And honestly, I'll throw the Jets. If the Jets get Rodgers, they're front and center now. You have an MVP quarterback,
right?
In a big city like New York with a good supporting cast. The biggest problem with New York last year was not their running game, their defense, or their coaching. It was their play calling and their quarterback. They saw both in one shot to get Rodgers, and that's taking a haymaker in Buffalo. Where Brett Favre seemed like they're reaching a little bit, this actually could work because the Jets actually have offensive support. Now, I wanted your opinion quick on also, by the way, shout out to our boy Chris. I said let's drop some takes. He goes, we'll kill the Cinderella story. All right, you know what? I'll take it. I still don't even know who I'm picking this weekend yet. I know who I'm picking in the first game. The second game, I have no fucking idea yet. Sean Payton is still not signed somewhere. A future Hall of Fame head coach by his right, or at least should be at least in the conversation for it, is not even like getting sent interviews. Now, is this because of, I want you guys' opinion, so we'll go start DJ, we'll go back to Mason and Matt and everything else. Is it because of the draft picks New Orleans is asking for? Is it because he's demanding too many things? Or do they want to start young and build their way out? DJ, what's your take on this?
I'm going to say it's the draft picks because you look at the teams looking for coaches. Cardinals aren't giving up pick 3 for him. The Colts aren't giving up pick 4. Denver has absolutely no picks whatsoever. Carolina probably wasn't going to give up pick 9. So, like, those openings, they don't want to give up that pick for a head coach that you're going to have to pay $26 million to when you already have that many holes on it in the first place. So, I think it's mostly the money and the picks. I don't think it's Sean Payton himself. It's you don't want to give up that much for a coach when you have so many holes as it is.
Also, are we maybe ignoring the fact that maybe the NFL's kind of done with Sean Payton?
That very likely do, yeah.
True. Yeah, definitely. I think, DJ, you make a good point, man. I mean, even with the Texans, right? The Texans aren't going to give up the number 2 pick, or I believe they have the number 12 pick as well from Cleveland. They're not giving up that pick either. Because, like you said, Jared, I mean, this guy's been out of the league, 2 years now?
It's going on 2 now. Right.
So it's like, I mean, this league, as we all know, changes so quickly. And, it's like, can this guy still coach? Probably. But I think a point that I made to a lot of my Houston friends is that, we all know what Sean Payton is capable of when he's got a really good roster, right? When he's got, a playoff caliber squad, but with a team like, Houston, Carolina, a lot of these rebuilding teams, we have no idea what his capacity is to coach a team that has, a long rebuild in front of them and has tons of question marks in terms of offensive and defensive personnel. So I think the draft picks is mainly what, is holding teams back from just hiring him and rolling with him.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Matt.
Yeah, I think Sean Payton pulled a Plaxico Burress and shot himself in the foot when he signed that big contract back in 2019 and decided to retire a couple years early. He's got that I think it was like a 5 or 6 year deal. I just looked it up. He's under contract until. You said what?
I love that reference, by the way.
No, I was thinking about that the entire time you guys were talking. I was like, it's gonna be great. He's still under contract. He's still under contract until after the 2024 season. I just checked. So this year and next year, he's still technically under the Saints' control. So I think just the fact that he decided to kind of call it quits a little early, knowing he had to wait 3 more years until he was a free agent, I think that's what's holding it back. Like you guys were saying, teams are going to look at that and be like, all right, do I want to go out and sign Frank Wright for free, or do I want to go give up, a high-end first-round draft pick plus some other compensation and go get Sean Payton? Yes, you're getting a future Hall of Fame, coach who got the Super Bowl. Drew Brees is going to get credit for being the head coach of the player that broke all of those insane franchise records and also just NFL records at the same time. But so I think he'll definitely get a job down the road. Maybe it's next year, maybe it's this year, I don't know. But I think what's holding it back at the end of the day is just the compensation that teams are going to have to give up, knowing he's under contract for a couple more years.
Fair. He's the new Eric Bieniemy. I think Bieniemy realized he's either going to be the heir apparent in KC or he's not getting a job.
There's always a big uproar, which I understand. There's always a big uproar about why isn't Bieniemy ever get a job? And
I know why. It's not because of the color of his skin. I've said this 1,000 times. It's because there's always talk around the league that he's an asshole. Like that. That's not it's not. And also, he may just not interview well. That's the other thing people are ignoring. It's like I don't really like if I'm interviewing and I don't care what you look like. If you interview like shit, I don't care what your offense looks like on tape. I'm going to think it's automatically all Andy Reid. And you're just there holding the clipboard for him. So, to me, that's the reason Bieniemy hasn't gotten a contract or gotten signed as a coach anywhere is because he either interviews like shit or his rep around the league ain't great. A buddy of mine has a theory because of how he got in trouble in college when he was the running back for that Colorado team back in 1990. That's my buddy's theory. I'm not gonna say, of course, there was a little scandal, little criminal charges. He got dropped off. I don't know if it got dropped or not. Either way, maybe that's not what they want to put forward. I'm not sure. Either way, I think it is passed on him, right? And by the way, yes, Brad has noticed, is my bad. I have heard of Dan Shaughnessy. Anybody who's ever watched Jim Roma's Burning has seen Dan Shaughnessy. By the way, I miss Jim Roma's Burning, man. That was like my child. I love that when I was a kid. That PTI around the horn, that was like an hour and a half. I didn't leave my couch.
It was locked in. It was like, what was it, 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock, something like that. It's like, we are locked in. Right,
it was 4:30 to 6. Then 6 o'clock Sports Center, I'd go work out or go play football or Xbox or some shit, whatever. That was like my favorite thing. Once Pee Wee football ended, that was my favorite thing to do. All right. Mason's about to fall asleep right now.
Gotta wake up, man.
Yeah, I know. You should get animated. I'm waiting for you to get rowdy.
I got you.
All right, so we're talking NFL awards now. So you know what? I'm bringing out the banner. We're gonna drop this crappy freaking Quiet Boy music. It's making me irritated. Let's crank that Dad Rock. There we go. All right. I already have beef with half these awards, but we're going to go through the awards now. I want your picks. I was going to do this as part of my corner with dartboard, but at this point, I don't have the patience, or nor do I care that much. So we are going to start all the way back at Offensive Rookie of the Year. Now, if apparently I can't pull this up anymore. There we go. Because I had the list in front of me on my phone, but of course the NFL sucks. All right, Offensive Rookie of the Year. Brock Purdy, Kenneth Walker, Garrett Wilson. You want my honest-to-God prediction? It's Kenneth Walker. No player changed the team's trajectory offensively more than he did when he came in for Rashad Penny. He was explosive as hell, and when they were able to run the football effectively, they were one of the harder teams to beat in the NFL. I think Walker edges out. Because Garrett Wilson, as much as he had great games, it didn't matter. That team was, everyone talks about Sauce Gardner and that defense. It wasn't moving the needle. I think Brock Purdy came in too little too late. So my pick stands Walker. I think Olave should have been thrown on that list because he was the best receiver on a bad New Orleans team. But then again, I just kind of explained why he's not. So, all right, DJ.
When we did our GS, I picked Olave because that's sort of their nominations. But for this one, with their nominations, I'm going to go with Garrett Wilson. Just because when you have 1,100 yards with Zach Wilson and the infamous Mike White at quarterback and Joe Flacco, you're doing something right as well, too. There's not a whole lot of other targets. Kenneth Walker obviously earned it as well, too. I'm going to lean with Garrett Wilson because there's more full season. Kenneth Walker didn't really get a lot of burn for that first month. So give me Garrett Wilson by a hair. But yes, I agree. Brock Purdy has no business being in there for a 5-game stretch.
Also, by the way, we were talking about this on Craft Brew. By the way, a little on Brock Purdy. I'll bring this up later. I want you guys to go back and look at that 5-game stretch Brock Purdy. Matt, you got 2 Jets in these rookie categories, man. You going to double up on the Jets, or you want to start with an offense?
I want everybody to know that I promise this isn't biased, but I am going to go with a double dipper here. I'm looking like Kenneth Walker is just phenomenal and he is what I thought Breece Hall was going to be the second half of the season before he got injured, obviously, but Kenneth Walker is just a guy you cannot bring down. I think what's going to hurt his chances and also Brock Purdy's chances is just the fact that they didn't play an entire season. We only saw Kenneth Walker for the last half of how many games did he play? 10 maybe?
I think 10 to 12, something like that.
Yeah, something like that, Matt.
It was 12. It was early he got in.
So I think, he'll have a really good chance. But I think the fact that he just didn't have that full season under his belt, which honestly, if you're going to deduct that, then Olave should be on here too. If you're going to put Kenneth Walker on here. I'll go on record to say that I think Chris Olave should be Offensive Rookie of the Year. Just if he never missed those couple of games, I think it would have been hands down shoe-in kind of win for him. But 83 catches on 147 targets for 1,100 yards, 4 touchdowns. A fantastic elusive season. This kid just is going to be the number 1 receiver for this team going down the road. I give him the edge because he played the entire season, because he had to work with guys like Chris Trevler, with Mike White, Zach Wilson, Joe Flacco to get these numbers, and he still put these numbers up. I'm not trying to make comparisons, but I'm looking at DeAndre Hopkins, put the numbers he put up with guys like Tom Savage and TJ Yates and Brandon Weeden and Brock Osweiler. And I have a lot of hope for this kid if he can put numbers up like this with 4 different quarterbacks in one season. And I think the future's bright for him. Brock Purdy should not be on this list, like you guys said. So I'm going to go Garrett Wilson on this, like DJ said, by a hair, like by a literal hair, like a 50 to 48, 52 to 48 kind of victory kind of thing percentage-wise. But Olave, to my opinion, should be on this list and probably should be offensive rookie of the year.
Fair. Mace.
So I got to go with the boy G. Wills here. Just impressive, man. Working with a mix of quarterbacks all season. The squad, as we know, is very young. Young head coach who I guess he's been with the team for 2 seasons now. And I know people want to take Ken Walker, but I just feel like if Ken Walker would have played the entire season and would have put up the stats, sort of like the projection of stats say he would have played, 17 games, right? I think he would easily win this award, but I think at the end of the day, it's going to come down to the fact that Wilson's stats were better because he did indeed play a full season and Ken Walker didn't. So I like Garrett Wilson to win this award.
Alrighty. Defense. I'm just going to start off. Listen, if you are a defensive back and you are already considered a top 5 at your position at year 1, it's Sauce Gardner, and I don't want to hear anything different. Listen, Tariq Woolen was great, but he also got smoked a lot too. The 6 interceptions, a little misleading. Aiden Hutchinson, not bad, but his numbers weren't blow like Nick Bosa, blow you off the face of the earth. Great. So I'm gonna go with Sauce here. I think the Jets will bring home 1 single award at least in this game. And oh god, the Chiefs fans in the building. God, this guy is a 1-point dog and he's talking about underdog season. Rob, it doesn't count when you get the game away, and I think it does. You guys are wrong. It's only an underdog because Mahomes' ankle shot. That's what it's basically. We'll talk about that in about 5 to 10 minutes. All right, we'll make these a little faster. Get a sentence to explain. DJ, who's your defensive rookie of the year?
Sauce, no question. Any other year, 1A, and I just have a pretty good case, just not with Sauce.
Maddie.
I like Tariq Woolen. He had a lot of interceptions this season, but when you have a guy like Sauce Gardner who averages less than 2 receptions per game allowed, 20.2 receiving yards, and he just shuts everybody down. It's no question in mind, best rookie quarterback season of all time is Sauce Gardner.
Mace.
I'm going Tariq here, man. I've got a really good friend who went to UTSA, and he's been on this train prior to the draft, telling me, and I didn't pay any attention to him. He's been telling me about how good this guy is. Tied for most interceptions in the league. I think that's very impressive as a corner. Obviously as a rookie, and that's a tough division, man. I know that the AFC East is not anything easy either, but the interceptions, tied for interceptions leader, I think says a lot about him. So I like Woolen here.
The only thing I hate about the interceptions argument is that if Gardner Johnson didn't get his kidneys sliced up against the Packers, he probably would have at least picked off another pass or two, making it kind of insufficient Woolen's numbers. Sauce was just dominating, and he even put a number. He just you could not throw the ball to him. Coach of the Year, the biggest fraudulent award that pissed me the fuck off. So it was initially announced it was Nick Sirianni, Kyle Shanahan, Brian Daboll, Sean McDermott, Doug Peterson. The NFL said, no, that's false. it's officially Kyle Shanahan, Brian Dable, and Doug Peterson. McDermott and Sirianni were pulled. I understand McDermott because the Bills got thumped at home. And honestly, their season was kind of wah. The fact that Sirianni got pulled when his team has the best record in the damn league, and the biggest improvement, I just it's just stupid. Whatever. I honestly just keep throwing gasoline in the fire, guys. I really appreciate it. Yeah. I actually kind of agree with Rob. I think McDermott's an okay head coach. I don't think he's a great head coach. My pick's Peterson. Listen, Dougie P flipped that roster in one season and got him a playoff win. I believe in the visor, boys. It's happening. Mace.
Yeah, so I got to go Dable here. I know a lot of people feel like Kafka was maybe more responsible for the offensive success and everything. But look, man, I mean, you can't discount what the Giants did this year. I think, and the fact that they won a playoff game on the road, doesn't matter, how fraudulent you feel like the Vikings were. It's very impressive that they went on the road, won a playoff game with a quarterback that was kind of in limbo, right, prior to the season beginning in Daniel Jones. And so I feel like it's really impressive what he's done here. I think he's a fantastic young coach. So I think Brian Dable wins this award.
All right. Maddie, DJ, one sentence on coaches. We'll get to the big boy awards.
I like Peterson. I like Doug Peterson. I liked Brian Dable too, obviously. I mean, he took that Giants team that had no business winning more than 6 or 7 games, won them 9, got them to the playoffs, won their playoff game. But Doug Peterson took over a team. I think you really got to look at it because the NFL loves the Cinderella stories with these awards. He took over a terrible Jacksonville team that had Urban Meyer kicking players, hooking up with people outside of work, cheating on his wife and everything. And he took them and he won them that division and he got them into the playoffs and he won them a playoff game and he almost had the Chiefs. It was a one possession kind of game. So I got to go with Doug Peterson. I think it was, considering what he inherited, I think it was very impressive for the work that he was able to do.
All righty, DJ.
I'll keep it quick. I'm going to go with Dable. You turned the ghosts of Saquon and Daniel Jones into legitimate playoff teams in the toughest division in football as well, too, where every team had a playoff shot and he got them the 5 seed. So Peterson obviously deserves it, but I'm going to give it to Dable because he doesn't have a Trevor Lawrence. And he turned Kenny Golladay into a $72 million O-line.
Fair. All right. Defensive player of the year, Hassan Reddick. No, I'm just kidding. He should have been nominated, though. He had better numbers than Micah Parsons and Chris Jones. This is bullshit. Nick Bosa. Guy led the NFL in sacks. It was just a nightmare. I'm kind of terrified for Sunday. DJ.
Nick Bosa, best defensive player all season. Micah kind of disappeared down the stretch a little bit. Fantastic. Give me Bosa the sack game.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm gonna piggyback off of what DJ said, and it's going to be Nick Bosa. Sack machine led the league in the center. It's just going to be Nick Bosa. That's always how these awards go.
Mm-hmm.
Same here, yeah. Bosa, 18.5 sacks, really great season, especially coming off the injury last year. Just a fantastic season all around, and yeah, I would be surprised if anyone else gets a first place vote. So I think there's a chance that this could be like.
All right, another take for our boys. My boy Brent over at 1420. His Eagles winning big, and he has Mahomes losing to the Bengals. All right, so Eagles-Bengals take out here. All right, offensive player of the year. I'm gonna go way off here. The nominees are Hill, Hurts, Mahomes, and Jefferson. Mahomes is going to win a different award, so I'm going to go Jalen Hurts is going to win the Offensive Player of the Year. All of the Jets and Tyreek, but no player affected his team more, not named Patrick Mahomes. This is basically the MVP runner-up award or the not named quarterback who should win the MVP award. I think it's going to be another quarterback winning Offensive Player of the Year. Because Hurts 10 touchdowns over 10 touchdowns on the ground, over 100 QBR rating. I think over 3,000 yards passing, 3,500 yards passing, 20 plus touchdowns passing as well. Just an overall amazing year for a mobile quarterback, and below 10 and below, I think he had 5 interceptions. So that being said, I think Jalen's going to get this. Tyreek, great season, but his team didn't make it. Justin Jefferson didn't matter what he did in that Giants game. They weren't winning. So give me, and Patrick's got another award to win. So give me Jalen Hurts for the Offensive Player of the Year.
But pretty much just to piggyback off of what you said, because I think Jalen Hurts should have won or should win MVP if he didn't miss those handful of games that he missed, which I think is just going to push Mahomes in front. So, I mean, Tyreek was impressive. Justin Jefferson obviously had a tremendous season, but I think it's going to be Jalen Hurts, like you said, just because I think he's going to get snubbed for MVP because he missed those last 3 games of the season or whatever he missed. So give me Jalen Hurts to win Player of the Year, and then obviously we'll go into the MVP talk later on.
Mace.
I got to go Jettas here, man. 128 receptions for 1,809 yards, man. That is over, 1 yard shy of 100 more yards than Tyreek Hill. That's about a full game. I think this guy is easily the best receiver in the league. And what he did this year just completely proved that. And I think to boot, it's impressive what he did with Kirk Cousins as his quarterback. So I think this has to be Jefferson. I know Hurts had a fantastic year. That's the boy. But I just think that Jefferson had too strong of a season for anyone else to match him. And kind of like you said, Jared, the Hurts missed games because of injury, I think, kind of caused him this award.
Also, because the NFL loves Mahomes. Like, if they give him it's like there's no excuse. They're going to give him Patrick. He's their goal. All right, DJ, take us home.
It's against my religion to pick a quarterback for Offensive Player of the Year and MVP. And since I picked Jettas before the season, I'm going to stick with him now. Really close to the yardage record. The mid of all mids throwing in the ball. Not much for complimentary receivers besides occasionally KJ Osborne. And the worst defense in the NFL. I would have liked him to score more touchdowns, but he still out to score more than Tyreek, so I'm going to give the edge to JJ.
Listen, Rob, I'm not saying he wasn't deserving MVP. I'm just saying I think Jalen's rise in importance to his team is more than Mahomes, because you saw what Chad Henne did when he walked in there and just walked down the field. Where if you put Gardner Minshew in against the Giants might win. So I'm just saying he's more valuable to his team. But I think Mahomes was the MVP. I'll just say it right now, so you can just skip my pick. All right. Comeback Player of the Year. Everyone picked, right? I just skipped nobody. All right. I would have loved to see Brandon Graham on this 11 sacks after blowing his knee out in week 2. But I understand why he's not on this list. It's not a big name. It's fucking Geno Smith. Can we stop this now? This man was basically written off for shit. They didn't write back, though. This man got the Seahawks, who were projected to have 4 fucking wins to the playoffs. He was top in completion percentage. I think he was top 5 in touchdowns and passing yards, top 10 in both. Like, dude, there's no question. It's Geno. Geno just played himself into a second career this season. Saquon had good numbers, but it wasn't like, he's supposed to have good numbers. How many injuries does he have to come back from? It's like congratulations. And CMC gets hurt every fucking year. The fact that he stayed healthy was honestly, I think it says more about Carolina's it was freaking training staff. So it's Geno. It's Geno. I don't want to hear anything else. It's fucking Geno.
I agree with you with Geno Smith. I look at, McCaffrey didn't really start to explode this season until he went over to San Francisco. And then you have Saquon that had a great year. But the last, 4 or 5 games or so of the season, he started to cool off a little bit. So I think that's going to affect his chances on winning that award. But I think it's Geno Smith. I mean, it didn't work out with the Jets, didn't work out with the Giants, didn't work out with the Chargers, goes to the Seahawks for 4 years or so, finally gets that starting role. Gets them into the playoffs his first year as a full starter. had the Niners the first half. They fell apart the second half, but I think Geno Smith will get a comeback of the year this year.
Mason.
So I actually like Saquon to win this award. I would naturally go Geno here, but I feel like towards the end of the season he kind of flailed a little bit and fell off. And I just think that Saquon, everyone really likes this guy. And, I think he had a really impressive, strong season, kind of to attest to the Giants season as a whole. He was very important to their success all season. So I'm going Saquon here.
Me personally, I hate all the choices because when I think comeback player of the year, it should be coming back from an injury or something like that as well too. When you look like Adrian Peterson, the ACL, Andrew Luck, the shoulders, JJ Watt, the litany of injuries, like
Alex
Smith with everything he went through, and you gave me two guys that were just on shitty teams last year, and Geno Smith, who was written off and decided not to right back. So based on the options, I'm gonna take Geno Smith, but I don't really. I like Brandon Graham, for example. When we did our show, that's what I think. I feel like it should be coming off of an injury, a bounce back next season, not just our team substance.
Fair. All right. Last but not least, MVP. Now, I would love to see Jalen win it, but then again, I also know about the MVP curse. Here's the thing. It's Patrick Mahomes. Led in all major categories, played all 17 games. His team just steamrolled base and played for food for every fucking game. When they lost, it's like, whatever, it's Kansas City. They're the new New England. It's okay. Except they don't cheat. They just have better players than you. Or Andy Reid's just smarter than you. So, that being said, he's still fucking annoying, so is his wife.
Yeah, I think it's also going to be Mahomes. I really wanted it to be Jalen Hurts. I knew it wasn't going to be once he missed those 2 games. So give me Mahomes.
Thanks, Chicago. You're fucking useless again.
I would love to see Joe Burrow get the award, but I think they're going to give Mahomes.
Based on what we saw last year, where Aaron Rodgers got the award after missing 2 games and having inferior stats to another quarterback, by that logic, it should be Jalen Hurts because he only lost 1 game. But similar to Aaron Rodgers last year, compared to Tom Brady, who beat him in every statistical category. But we know it's going to be Patrick Mahomes. He broke the record for total yards in a season. I think there's a strong case for Hurts, but it's an inconsistent voting. So I'll take it.
It's basically the Chris Collinsworth award. He's just going to never skate from Mace.
Yeah, so, you guys kind of laid it out. It's got to be Mahomes, man. Kind of like you said, Jared. Mahomes is the NFL's golden boy. They love him. He can do no wrong. It seems like this team is just unbeatable, blah, 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 blah. So it's got to be Mahomes.
You could kick a puppy on camera and they would spin it as he was defending his child from the dog.
It's very irritating, man.
It's okay. I just can't wait to see Sam Reddick take his head off. Penalty or not. Rob, I love you, buddy. Here's the problem. You know I was going to say something. Rob, I do. Listen, you have to admit, the NFL does love Patrick Mahomes. As much as your team is good and they're very disciplined, Andy Reid's a great coach, the NFL and their commentators do love Patrick, and it gets a little irritating when I have to see his fucking Kermit the Frog voice every fucking commercial. It's a little overload. It's the same way why I hated Baker Mayfield, but at least Patrick's fucking good. So he's the best quarterback in football still. So it's also that. So. All right, Jeff, I cracked the beer already. My last beer. Damn, I really took 3 beers already. Shit, I must have had a rough day. Either way, I cracked the 6-pack. It's a 2-pack basically because there's 2 fucking games anybody actually cares about. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want amazing shades like this, you have to go to one website, YeatsOfficial.com, promo code CornerBooth for 10% off. Yeats has been our sponsor for almost 3 years now. Gotta love these people. They're out of Clearwater, Florida. They are great people. They have thousands of styles available between colors, shapes, everything else. I have 4 pairs of these. They're cheap. Like polarized, $40. You know what? They kind of fit. So these are like my more like not in like I guess these are my party shades. I love these ones. These are the ones I keep hanging around. Then you got my work shades. These ones are great. I literally had these in my contractor truck for almost 6, even though they look a little too much like ski goggles, but listen, these are comfy too. That being said, youtubefisher.com, promo code cornerbooth for 10% off. All the way, by the way, is for all my Pro 2A people out there, great shooting glasses. Not gonna lie, I took a shell off of one of these. Didn't even leave a scratch. Also, as Kevin, they survived a dog attack. His dog literally tried to chew up one. So it's all good. Promo code cornerbooth 10% off. youtube.com, official sponsor of the Six Pack and Belly Sports. All right, gentlemen, there's 2 games. We'll start with the 3-o'clocker. I'm picking Philadelphia. This game is going to be close. I think the 49ers defense is going to keep this game close. I think Jalen's going to struggle early. But the Eagles defense is going to force Brock to make some dumb throws. Having Gardner Johnson back on that secondary along with Marcus Epps and both those corners, and apparently Avonte Maddox is questionable to play, which means he might. In that nickel, a full-strength Eagles defense is very scary. And I think a late turnover is going in that pass rush is going to cause Brock to make one bad mistake. First interception of the season for him. I think Philly wins by a field goal. I think they cover. So they win by field goal. I love this line, by the way. DJ.
I'm taking the Eagles as well. I think it's a clash of titans. It's the best matchup in the NFC we could really hope for. I think it's going to be really close. I think Jalen Hurts is going to get it rolling on the ground early. I think he's going to utilize his legs to try and open things up. And I think the key will be Devontae Smith. I know I've been the Devontae Smith homer all year every time we come on the show.
Yeah, on our preview show, you say he's going to have a better season than A.J. Brown. You were close, but not
very close. You take away yards, it was pretty close. But I think the Niners secondary is where there's quote-unquote weak spots, especially the corner area. They're going to lean towards A.J. Brown because they're smart if they do, which means I think you're going to get a lot of Devontae Smith one-on-one or working out of the slot, which is going to give him a lot of opportunities. We saw what CeeDee landed out of the slot last week. He was able to find openings, so I think we could see Devontae Smith. It really opened up the passing game for him. So I'll take the Eagles. I'll give them by 7. I'll say they get out by a touchdown. The Niners just don't have enough time to tie it up.
Mace.
Yeah, so I like the Eagles here. I kind of touched on this for last week's Niners game. It feels like, Purdy can only keep this up for so long. And last week we saw him kind of come back down to earth a little bit and have like literally his first mediocre game of his career. And I just feel like, I don't know if this dude can ball on 2 very good defenses 2 weeks in a row. And it seemed like the Niners it seemed like the Cowboys almost lost that game rather than the Niners won it.
Thank you.
So, look, I'm not super confident in the Niners really kind of hanging in here. I feel like what the Eagles did to the Giants, man, was very impressive. They dominated them on both offense and defense for the entire game. And Hurts, did just enough. Like, he looked very good coming off the week of rest, coming off the bye. So I like the Eagles to win this game, and I like them to cover.
I think the difference in this game, and I'm going to let you two go, or I'll let Matt go, is the quarterback. If it's the last drive, who do I want taking over and just the coach going, Shanahan or Sirianni going, hey, go win this fucking game for us. Let's go get a shot at a chip. I want Jalen. I've seen Jalen 4 times this year say, all right, fuck it, guys, I got this. Let's go. And just walk down the field. One time he literally fucking ran it himself. It's the guy, how the guy's wired. I love Brock Purdy. I love his story. I think he's going to be a great quarterback in this league. I think he may not be the next Tom Brady, but he's the next late round guy who wins our hearts and plays a great career. By the way, also, to my college football guys, shout out my coworker Josh Mayer and Kevin. I liked Brock Purdy in college. I still don't understand why he was drafted in the 7th round. I don't understand. He was better than half the quarterbacks in his draft class. Either way, I think Purdy's going to have a decent game. I think the Niners defense is going to keep this close. But the real problem is that the Niners have struggled against big play receivers. And the Eagles defense is not like Dallas, where they're going to let George Kittle catch a bobbling catch over the middle. Like Marcus Epps might break his rib cage if he tries to do that, because he tried to actually murder Treylon Burks. So I mean, at this point, like anything's possible. I call him and CJ Gardner-Johnson the Anarchy Twins, because one tries to murder you, one tries to pick off your quarterback. So, that being said, Maddie, how are you leaning here?
I'm leaning towards the east with the Philly. I'm not going west with this one. Brock Purdy is a great story, and he's going to be a very good quarterback in this league. I think he could be the next similar kind of like Kurt Warner kind of thing, where he was taken very late. I know Kurt Warner was undrafted, but I think he could have a pretty successful season down the road. It's just not gonna continue after this week. You saw a more human Brock Purdy when they played the Cowboys. The defense really kind of kept them in check. I think Philly's defense is all around just better, just in the sense of I think they have a outstanding pass coverage defense. I think they have a solid run defense, and they have a defense that can get to the quarterback. So they have an all around, I think, complete defense, in my opinion, or the most complete defense left in the Final Four. The Niners, I think Jalen Hurts is going to attack the secondary. I mean, I'm not expecting a huge run game kind of thing, but I think they're going to do just enough to beat this good defense, and I think they're going to dissect their weaknesses. And like Jared was saying, if you're going to tell me what quarterback do you want to lead me a game-winning drive right now, I'm taking Jalen Hurts, because he can do it both. He can do it all. He can throw it to you. He can run it. He can do whatever he needs to do to win this game. I like Philly. I think they'll win by, like DJ was saying, at least 7. I don't think it'll be, anything under 7 kind of thing, but I do think Philly's going to walk out with this one, going to the Super Bowl, representing the NFC.
All right, so since Trey Lance was injured, the best quarterback they played was Patrick Mahomes. They lost, but that was Jimmy G, right? The best quarterback that Brock Purdy has played was Tom Brady and Geno Smith. Derek Carr, but that was overtime. And that was way too close. It was the Bucs, but also like that defense. We see what happened. A good pass rush can suffocate that Buccaneers team.
I believe that was actually Jarrett Stidham, not Derek Carr. Makes it even worse for.
Oh yeah, that was right. That was the year after they benched him. Okay. Listen, all love to 49ers fans. Shout out to my boy Scotty, Joe Hall, my boy Chris, and Dan Mater. Here's the kicker, and we'll move on to the next game. I look at the 49ers, and I think, okay, Nick Bosa scares the piss out of me. So does bargain bin Polamalu on your back end and Fred Warner, right? I don't care about Christian McCaskill. I don't care about Debo. I don't care about Ayuk, because here's the thing. You tell Darius Slayer, Bradbury, they got to lock up Ayuk. All right, bet. That's he's not touching the ball for the game, because I watched Darius Slayer lock up Justin Jefferson for an entire game. Bradbury locked up guys all year. What scares me is George Kittle and Nick Bosa. Now, if the Eagles can control clock, make Purdy try to beat them from behind, if the Eagles can get out and do what they did and just get out early, maybe hit a deep shot to A.J. Brown, maybe get Miles going, maybe even throw a quick shot to Quez Watkins, because there's nobody on that Niners secondary who can run with Quez Watkins. Or even just get Smitty on a screen pass. But I just, I think Philly's got this. I think we might be heading towards a Kelsey Bowl. I don't know. I still haven't figured out who the hell I'm picking yet for the next game. So moving on, as Rob comes back, our freaking favorite KC fan. Bengals Chiefs. Now, I said this before the show. This is only the Bengals are favored because of Mahomes' ankle. If Mahomes is healthy, this is Chiefs -4. Guaranteed, if not more. So, that being said, DJ, where are you leaning on this game? What's your vibe? What's going to happen? Talk to me here.
Damn, that's a tough one. It's really a tough one, because the Bengals are really all around better. The defense is better. The receivers are better. The running backs are better. The offensive lines, I would say, is the Chiefs is better, but the way the Bengals performed last week, it's tough to go even against them. But I'm still going to go with the Chiefs. I think there's something about a lot's been being made of that. You're 0-3 against him. You're 0-3 against him. You had Burrow had everything with that. I think this is the type of game where Kansas City shows it's like when they played the Bills 2 years ago in the AFC Championship game. Patrick Mahomes was coming off getting knocked out against the Browns. Then they go out and win 38-14. So I feel like this has a weird feel to it. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs. They'll cover because it's 1 point. But I feel comfortable picking the Chiefs on this one.
Ooh. Okay, so Josh, I love that too. I'm done betting AJ Brown yards because when I bet on his yards, he always goes under. But if I just bet on anytime touchdown, AJ goes fucking off. So I don't like. I think the biggest key also, and he hit this on the head quick. We'll run back quick, is I think the Niners don't have anybody who can cover AJ Brown or Devontae Smith man on man. They have to stay in zone, and any good quarterback who's not Dak Prescott can actually pick apart zone. Mace, back to Bengals Chiefs. What's your thinking? What are you looking at? How you rolling with this game? Talk to me.
Yeah, so first off, I think KC wins this ball game. The whole 3-0 thing. I mean, you know what they say, man. Streaks were meant to be broken. So I just feel like, they're at home. I know Mahomes is banged up with the ankle, but I don't know if you guys have seen the videos from practice today. He was running around, moving perfectly.
Mobile. I saw it this morning.
Right. He looked, perfectly fine to me. So, maybe obviously I'm sure it doesn't feel 100% or whatever. I'm sure it's not feeling very comfortable, but he's a gamer and, they're just the better team, man. They, at the end of the day, they are the better team. They're at home. I just feel like, my gut tells me that they just pulled this out. I don't think Burrow makes it 4 in a row versus at the moment the best quarterback in the league with a chance to go to the Super Bowl on the line.
You know what? You've convinced me. I've bet against the Bengals once this year, and I am a glutton for punishment, so I'll do it again. Rob, I hope you're listening, dog. I'm picking your fucking Chiefs. Patrick is going to have a great game. Also, I want to see Kelsey ball. Are you kidding me? I want Jason versus fucking Travis. Like, I want this shit. I want Mama Kelsey wearing a split jersey in the bleachers. As much as I'd love to see Travis Kelsey rocking a 62 jersey in the stands, I really would love to see Jason Kelsey. I think if the Eagles end up beating the Niners and going to the Super Bowl, and if they end up winning, it's Jason Kelsey's final game. I guarantee it. I will put money on that right now. And Beef Jurgens will be our starting center next year. This dude's a monster, by the way. Handpicked by Jason Kelsey. Anyway, I think the Chiefs got this. Here's the thing. Like you said, Mace, streaks are meant to be broken. I did put a bet on the Bengals for covering my own ass betting-wise. I'm going to have to pay for Matt's fucking jersey at some point. And yes, A.J. Brown wants the ball more. Yeah, I get that. And I think he's going to have a better game this week also because the Giants were double covering him the entire game. ADHD brain, guys. Just ignore me. Even though I'm the one talking. The Chiefs, to me, were playing with their food against the Jags. I think they had a little bit of a reality check. I think they were the team. Everyone thought Philadelphia was going to be the team with the rust. No, it was Casey. Casey had the rust. Casey hadn't given a fuck about a team since probably week 15, 14, whatever. They saw the Bills scrambling a little bit, and they were like, all right, we got this, right? Give me the Chiefs by a touchdown. I think the Bengals are going to have a shot in the last drive, but the fact of the matter is that the very weak Bengals O-line they spent so much money on is going to be their downfall again. Because once again, guys, what is the moniker of modern football? You win in the trenches. Eagles have a top D-line and a top O-line. The Chiefs have a good D-line and a good O-line. You win in the trenches. And there's your explanation, folks. Chiefs will win this game. It's going to be a Kelsey Bowl. I'm excited for it. Who's next?
I would like to take the Chiefs, but I think just to make the pick'ems a little more interesting, I'm going to go with the Bengals on this one. Joe Burrow's 3-0 against Patrick Mahomes. They're playing at Burrowhead Stadium down in Kansas City. The Bengals have, in my opinion, they got everything better on offense, except they don't have as good as a tight end. And I think Patrick Mahomes is the better quarterback. But I think all around defense-wise, I think you got to give it to the Bengals. The only Achilles heel right now, I think, is the fact that they just lost their center. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if he's playing this week, but they're pretty much missing the center and the entire, I think it's right side of that offensive line right now. Mm-hmm. But Patrick Mahomes with that ankle injury, I know he's running around perfectly fine. Probably slapped on the cortisone shot, but I'm gonna go with, just to make it interesting. I'm gonna go with the Bengals. I just had this like weird feeling like Burrow's gonna just kind of figure out how to get back to Super Bowl a second time. Is he gonna beat Philly? We'll come to that conclusion after this week's games. We'll talk about that. But give me the Bengals to top the Chiefs, and I'm talking like 3 points max.
Okay.
I'm thinking this could be like a 1-point game.
Since it's so close on the margin lines, Mason, this counts as an upset for you and me because it may be only 1 point, but basically now it's what Eagles Niners is -2.5. It's like anything to get us back in because Matt's like 5 points up on us. We need some help here.
Yeah, I see this game as either being, if Cincy wins, like kind of like Matt said, less than like 6. They win by like a field goal. But
Also,
if KC wins, like I think this is just like a blowout. Like I don't see, that's just how I think about it, man.
I see either Cincy winning by at least double digits or KC winning close. Okay. I think KC's going to win close. Exactly opposite of you, because here's the thing, like, and it's not no disrespect to what you're saying, Mason, because what you're saying makes sense, but to me, it's the NFL refs, it's Patrick Mahomes, it's the ball. It's the fact that he looked like he was mobile as hell at practice this week. And I think the Bengals are the teams can keep him close. But I think who's going to be giving up the game-winning touchdown is fucking Eli Apple. Because Eli, karma's a fucking bitch, man. The football gods are the meanest fuckers of them all. Man, like, who is it this? I kept talking about a team this year. I can't remember. I'm blanking right now. Matt, you know this. I've been talking about one team all year who said the football gods are a bitch. Who was it? Somebody who was just blocking. Oh, it was the fucking Giants. Kayvon Thibodeau basically snapped Nick Foles' neck.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, football gods are a bitch. And look what happened.
Yeah, I mean, you know what you can count on, man, is you can count on one minimum roughing the passer call against the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yep.
Because these refs, and I guarantee you the rules people in New York are going to be watching this, like just picking apart. Anytime that Mahomes gets touched, hits hard, brought to the ground, anything, like they are going to be like, all right, was there any sort of like malicious intent here? After he got rid of the ball, whatever it might be. So if that's like a prop anywhere you can find it, lock that in right now.
All right. To be fair, this is for all you guys out there. As an Eagles fan, this is my perspective, right? If I had no stakes in this, right, and I just wanted who was going to – if, like, let's say my Eagles win. Let's say my Eagles win at 3 o'clock. They win the game, and we're going to the 6:30 saying – Rob, I fucking get it. He's only gotten 2 all season, but they were very pivotal fucking calls. All I'm saying is who I'd rather take on the Super Bowl is the fucking Bengals, because I know Hassan Reddick and Josh Sweat come off the edges. NFL refs would look the other way while they freaking tabletopped Joe Burrow multiple times.
Oh, yeah.
Also because the Bengals offensive line couldn't block shit.
Right.
And
they're banged up, man. They're not even fully healthy.
Exactly. The Eagles-Bengals game it would be not a blowout, but it wouldn't be close. Where Eagles-Chiefs is going to come down to the fucking wire if that happens. Now, nobody wants to see the Niners in this except for Niners fans because it's going to be fucking slow and boring.
And Purdy, like I said, man, I said this to someone else today. If the Niners get to the Super Bowl, man, I promise you Purdy's not acting like he has been the past 7 games. He's not going out there and throwing for 300 yards and 3 TDs and completing 70% of his passes, man. Like it's going to be a very football. Like it's going to all finally catch up to him, and he's going to be like, "Oh my gosh, I'm playing for a championship right now, and like I'm like a bum." I am a 7th round draft choice.
I think a lot of America is really hoping for just entertainment purposes that like Eagles win, because I don't like the Niners. Like they would not be able to keep up scoring. Like I know that defense is good, but also that defense also had everyone talked about how easy the Eagles schedule was. I just looked at the Niners schedule. I'm like, y'all's was
man,
great. Okay, like it was better than ours because you had the Seahawks twice, but like, Come on, really? Like I don't.
Check
here.
those 7 straight wins for Purdy, man, and tell me who he
Um,
played,
all I'm
and
saying
then
is
let me know.
just let's. I think that the Niners are the best team Philadelphia's played all year, and they are the biggest test we're going to play to date, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
All I'm saying is that I believe in Jalen. I believe in Hassan, CJ, Brandon, the boys, Lane, Jason, all of them, motherfucker. AJ, Devontae, all of them. I believe in them, right? This is going to be a close game. This game is going to put me over the fucking edge. I'm going to need at least one edible, 3 beers, and at least a shot of whiskey just to make it through halftime. So I'm not looking forward. I'm terrified of Sunday, right? Terrified. I was terrified of last Saturday, right? Because I'm like, God forbid if this game gets close, I'm not going to hear the fucking end of it. So that being said, go Birds. I picked the Chiefs. DJ, you haven't picked yet, have you?
Oh yeah, I took the Chiefs. I think it's going to weirdly surprise some people.
So Maddie is going lone wolf on the Bengals. All right, boys, you have 5 minutes left. So by the way, shout out to our boy Josh Maher, by the way. If you don't love Josh Maher, by the way, if you haven't checked out Rising to the Occasion, it's a great podcast. He is one of our fellow leadership guys here at Belly Up. Also, one of the smartest dudes I know. Me and him co-hosted a football show together, actually. Any bets you guys like? Because you know what, we have a whole segment about this. Bonus cans, or actually, no, not bonus cans. Fuck, wrong thing. Whatever. Canadips.com, promo code BELLYUP 20 for 20% off. They're sponsoring our gambling segment. Any bets you guys like for this weekend?
I like a nice little harmless anytime touchdown little bet going on. I I'm going to throw in a guy from each game or each team. I think Kittle on the Niners is obviously the obvious one. I like the wild card going with the Slim Reaper for an anytime touchdown. I think if you kind of look back, I think Jalen Hurts has been getting him a little more involved lately, which is why I think A.J. Brown has been making it more clear he wants more touches. So I think A.J. Brown A.J. Brown. I think Devonta Smith can sneak in an anytime touchdown there. Looking at the other one, I think obviously Travis Kelce is going to be everybody's anytime touchdown player. And then with the Bengals, I like T. Higgins, but I'm going to bypass Higgins and Chase. I'm going to Joe Mixon anytime touchdown. So I'm looking at Kelce, Mixon, Kittle, and Slim Reaper, Devonta Smith for a little 4-person anytime touchdown thing.
I'm going to throw a random one at you, right? Give me Quez Watkins. If you want a value pick, dude hasn't scored a touchdown since I believe week 12. And like I said before, there's nobody on the Niners secondary who can cover his speed. It's just a matter of Jalen finding him. But if you want my who's going to score, I think give me Dallas Goedert for a plus 180. It's a rookie. It's a layup. You could also go with Gainwell at plus 450 because he's been the hot hand, and Nick Sirianni is not one to shy away from the hot running back. But I think take the Miles Sanders over because Gainwell is a big playback while Sanders can eat up 40, 50, 60 yards in the quarter. For the other game, I love – I'll throw one at you, man. Give me a Tyler Boyd touchdown. The nickel position for the Chiefs ain't great, and Boyd is just that weird touchdown scorer. You occasionally gets in. Give me Boyd for an anytime touchdown.
Here's just one for ish and giggles. We're going to go with the first touchdown scorers for each game. So for the first one, I'm going to take Jalen Hurts as the first touchdown scorer because I do think Dallas Goedert is a safe bet there, but I think they're going to use him like those play action, get him to the flats off the RPOs. I think Fred Warner's going to run with him this time because Dallas Goedert's been scored on it last week for the first touchdown. And that's going to clear a lot of room for Jalen Hurts right up the gut for the first touchdown. And the Chiefs Bengals, I'm taking Jarrett McKinnon as the first touchdown scorer. He's been on an absolute tear up until last week, getting receiving touchdowns. He has like 9 since he started. So I'm going to go with those two combined. Odds for that's 9,800. So I don't mind the idea of possibly winning $100 off of $1. And I feel like both of them kind of make sense there. I think the Bengals maybe start a little bit slow, get a field goal early. Chiefs get down, play action. Everyone chases Travis Kelce. Jarrett McKinnon's chilling in the flat for an easy touchdown. So that's what I'm going to go with for just a couple fun ones.
I'm gonna take. Here's the things. Everyone's gonna take Kelsey, right? If there was any defensive coordinator who would just overly focus on Travis Kelsey, it'd be Jonathan Gannon. But I think also look at Pacheco. Oh no, Jesus Christ, wrong game. Fuck, man, my brain's fucked up. Long week. If there's any coordinator to over focus on Kelsey, it would be the defense coordinator for the Bengals. I can't pronounce his last name. It's Lou something.
Yeah,
Arillo. Yeah, he's a Paisan. I know. But there's something about that Bengals Chiefs game. I don't understand it. I can't. It's gonna come down to a fucking coin flip. And I can't fucking wait. Eagles Niners, I'm just stressed out. I want it to be over. I know we're not gonna blow them out. We're not gonna get blown out. Hopefully, like the fucking Giants Eagles game was. But I want the Eagles to put this away quicker than the 4 quarters because I cannot deal with the stress, man. Betting's out the fucking window. Now we're into the end game. This is it, man. This is the Final Four. I'm twitching now as an Eagles fan. So, yeah, I've been here 7 times in my life now. It's been a little stressful. But, yeah. Mace, anything you like this week? Anytime touchdown scores? Oh, by the way, I got one for you. Hassan Reddick. Give me 2 sacks for Hassan Reddick this week.
Nice.
That seems safe, especially if he's not on Trent Williams' side as well too. If they put him on
that's Josh Sweat's side. So I think
he's gonna bully Mike McGlinchey.
Mace, what you got for me?
Yeah, dude. I mean, you probably won't be able to find this, but I'm telling you, man, that roughing the passer, if you could find that, dude, that is straight cash.
You can find that in Nevada. I think they do penalty props in Nevada. I believe in Delaware, Ohio, West Virginia. A few other very loose gambling states.
Other than that, man, I really feel like the layup here is anytime McCaffrey touchdown. He scored in the 2 previous games, and prior to that, I think he's got a nice streak of just having a touchdown in every single game. So yeah, that's probably, if I was a betting man, that's what I'd go with.
Fair. All right, well, boys and girls, that wraps it up for the Corner Booth pregame. We hope you have an amazing championship weekend. Feel free to check us out at Corner Booth Pod on all platforms. Matt kicks ass on TikTok. Me and Mace run the Twitter, and I try to help Matt as much as I can on the Instagram. Our Facebook is kind of just but our amazing guest, DJ, basically you're almost like a featured, just almost co-host by proxy at this point. Where can we find your amazing content?
I'm the corner chair at this point. I don't got the booth yet, but I got a pull-up chair off to the side that we steal from some of the on the side. But you can find me and my co-host Kelsey at High Low Sports. That's pretty much all social medias: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, etc. We go live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. You can find us YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all the same things as well too. Come hang out with us, tell us why we're right, why we're wrong, or something indifferent as well too. We're always fun to talk ball in a different way.
There you go. All righty, folks. I would give Matt and Mace the time, but I feel like I've been running these guys ragged all season. Couple quick announcements. We might do a hybrid show next week for our Pro Bowl week. I haven't decided what the fuck we're doing yet, honestly, because the problem is the Pro Bowl week is the worst week because you want to talk Super Bowl, but it's you can't yet. So we may just say fuck the Thursday show and just only do the Tuesday. I'm not sure. We'll figure it out. But that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you coming by. Geez, only 3 weeks left in the NFL season. That's fucking terrifying. We hope you have a great weekend. Try to stay warm, and we will see you on Monday. Enjoy the weekend. Peace.